Hi, everybody, and welcome. We're here to start our first week of the How to Shop for a Horse series. So, this is one of the biggest things that people struggle with. Purchasing a horse can be very emotional. There's a lot of decisions, there's a lot of different factors that come into play. This is a pretty important decision. You're choosing your partner. So, I think a lot of times it's taken a little too lightly that, oh, he's a nice horse, he'll be fine. And that's great. But a lot of times that gets people into binds. So we're going to start this series with kind of how to put ourselves in a position to buy the right horse. How do we start shopping? We're not going to go to Home Depot for steak. So our very first thing that we have to do is decide exactly what is the right horse for us as a person. Because there's just so many as far as a variety. So we're going to start this talk with choosing a discipline. So there's a lot of folks that show, there's a lot of folks that don't show. There's some folks that compete in other ways. There's competitive trail rides, there's endurance, there's just a huge variety of all different things you can do with your horse. In my experience, the majority of people start out wanting a family horse, just something that they can have at home, that they can spend some time with and ride around the place and maybe go to an event here and there. That's typically how it starts. And then sometimes people branch off and decide to go to different disciplines. Know that if you choose a discipline right now and you think, hey, this is kind of the direction I would want to go, that's not set in stone. I dabble in a million different things. We have a local trainer here, and I won't say his name just because I don't have his permission, but he's freaking amazing. I love him. You'll see this guy at AQHA World Show taking horses over jumps in the 100 jumper class, and then he's over here at the Extreme Cowboy Race, and then he's over here sorting, and then you see him in the Western Dressage, and then he does the thoroughbred makeover. So he's just an extremely versatile trainer. And it's funny because he's a pretty humble guy and doesn't have a real big ego. So every time I see him, I tell him, I want to be just like you when I grow up. And he's like, oh, no, you don't. But what I love about him is the variety of all the different things he does. So his horses are versatile. So that being said, just because you choose a discipline doesn't mean that you're not married to that. You can venture out. There's so many different choices and different things you can do. So we'll start with saying, okay, do you want to go English or Western? That's kind of the why in the road. Once you choose that path, then there's a whole bunch of branches that you can choose on each one. So if you choose to go English or Western, there's no wrong answer, and there's no reason you can't change later on. This is just like, hey, let's get started. Let's find the right horse. And then if you get a good horse that's pretty versatile, you can do a lot of different things with them. So I am primarily a Western rider. I do ride some English, and I show a lot of Western dressage. If you'd have asked me 10 years ago if I would ever be showing and doing dressage, I would have laughed at you. And yet here I am doing it. So you just never know which direction it's going to go. So the first thing you want to kind of decide is are we wanting to go English or Western? Most of your trail riders, endurance, things like that, go a little bit more of a Western style. The saddles are a little bit more usable as far as being out in the woods. They're a little bit more durable. You've got more things to tie your drinks, your snacks, your maps, whatever you need onto them. So first is are we English or Western? So the next thing we're going to look at is kind of look at your personality and the things that you enjoy doing. Are you kind of an adrenaline junkie? Are you the slow and easy wins the race? There's a huge difference there. Huge difference. The horse that matches the adrenaline junkie is going to scare the person that's slow, either scare or annoy the person that wants the slow and steady. So the beginning is knowing, like, okay, do I want to be a barrel racer or a trail rider? Do I want to do hunter jumper, or do I want to do dressage? Very, very different. And there's nothing wrong with dabbling in all of them. What we're doing at this point is just kind of setting a path. So then you look at your different categories within English or Western. Again, most people typically are wanting to start with family horse, and then they go on and then they find their different directions and go. So that's your first step. Once you kind of figure out an idea, one thing I highly recommend, and this will go right along with choosing a trainer, because once we choose a discipline, that's the next thing we're going to do. If you're struggling with choosing a discipline, go do some lessons. You're like, hunter jumper looks kind of fun. I think I want to try that. You might try it and you might be like, oh yeah, this is it. You might be like, never again. So go take some lessons. Try some different disciplines. See which one clicks with you. See what you like. That segues us into the trainer conversation. So now that you've decided a discipline, or you've decided that you're going to try a bunch and see which one you like, it's time to start looking for a trainer. I'm going to put a little bit more time into this discussion. When you go to look for a trainer, that is a very different experience. I have had people that just call me up, want to do a lesson. Okay. I have had people that came and watched me in lessons 2 or 3 times before they ever took a lesson. It's a huge variety out there. So start trainer shopping. Put your effort into it. Don't do this lightly. This is your person. This is the person that is going to guide you through all of this. So making this choice is probably one of the most important parts of horse shopping. And not all of you are going to seek a trainer for that. Some of you are more experienced and you've bought horses in the past. So if that is the case, you can just kind of pass over this one. I don't ever think it's a bad idea to involve a quality trainer. Now, you notice what I said there. I did not say involve a trainer. I said involve a quality trainer. So this is where I think things get very hard for folks. If you're a beginner and you don't know, how do you decide who is a quality trainer? So the very first thing I would like you to really look at is I research them. Get on Facebook. See what their reputation is. See, are there a lot of people mad at them? Are they non-existent? What kind of videos do they post? What is their chosen discipline? Once you get through that kind of checkpoint, then the next thing is take the time. Go meet them. Go spend time at their facility. So one of the very first things that I look for, and that I think is important, is quality of care. So when I walk into a facility, I don't care if it's fancy. Fancy's beautiful. We all love it. But it's not necessary. And I guarantee there's not a horse in the world that goes out to the pasture and tells his friends, hey, my barn's prettier than yours. So, I don't care if a trainer's facility is fancy at all. I care if it's clean. I care if it's safe. I care if the fences are good. I care if the horses look good. Are they slick, shiny, fat? Are they skinny? If there's 20 fat horses, guys, and there's one skinny one, maybe ask. Say, hey, what's up with this guy? Most likely, if you're at a facility that has 20 beautiful horses and one skinny guy, they're probably trying to help him. If you walk into the facility and there's 20 horses and 19 of them are skinny, that is a character reference. So I look at the things that people do as character references. This is not, I'm not being judgmental. Is your character and my character in alignment? This relationship with your trainer is going to be a really important one. This is where you get trust. This is where you build confidence. This is the person that you're going to tell all of the things you don't want to tell. Like, hey, yesterday when my horse bucked, I think I peed myself. Happens, guys. But, so this is a super important relationship. Choose wisely. So spend some time with them. Watch a lesson or two. Watch what their style is. How do they treat their clients? How do they treat the horses? Do their clients seem to be progressing? Have they had the same clients for a long time? Are clients in and out? Oftentimes, when you're in the very beginner stage, you may start with one trainer and venture on to different trainers. That is also okay. There is nothing better than a quality beginner trainer that just gets people going and helps them find their way and then sends them on to a more advanced trainer. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And in my opinion, that trainer sets your foundation. For me, I believe that the colt start trainer is the most important trainer in a horse's life. I believe that your trainer, the first person to introduce you to horses and walk you through this, is the most important person in your life. They will set the tone for what is right and wrong, for how you do things, how you care for your horses, all of those things. Super big, important decision. Go spend time with these people. The fact is that we all kind of have a style and we all kind of have a niche. And we all have a certain clientele that just grooves with us. Mine is your typical middle-aged lady that has worked her whole life and devoted herself to her family and her children or her career. And she's finally hit a stage in her life that she can do something for herself. And that's my favorite clientele. So we also all kind of have our favorite people and the people we enjoy working with. There's a trainer here, and we'll be doing a video on her facility and everything she does. Her name is Nancy Burba, and she has absolutely, in my opinion, the most quality program. Mostly, I mean, she does adults, and it's a great program for adults, but man, if you've got a kid, send them to Miss Nancy, because those kids will have quality horsemanship skills. They will know how to take care of a horse. They will know how to groom a horse. They will know how the horse works medically, physically. And you know what? They're going to be a better person for going there. So look at all of those things. These people have a huge influence over your horsemanship journey, or your child's in her case. So spend some time with them. Go to a few different ones. Even if you go to that first one and you're like, man, that was great, still go to a couple more. Because when you're first starting out, you just don't know what you got until you know what you're comparing to. So go to multiple trainers and get some lessons and see who you groove with. See who is your person. If you have your sights set on a competitive discipline, so say for instance Miss Lisa, she has reining horses, and she uses a trainer, Shawn Johnson. So if a beginner was to go to Shawn Johnson, I don't know this for a fact, I'm speaking out of turn. He may say, hey, We'll take you when you're a little further on, but let me have you start with this person, because they're going to get that foundational stuff for you, and they're going to get you ready for me. So that could happen. Some of your more advanced trainers in the higher disciplines and more competitive worlds are probably going to refer you to maybe their buddy down the road that's a great trainer to get you started. They may not, but explore all of it. Go to these places, spend time with these people, keep your eyes open. Look around. You will know if this is the right place for you. You will go to some places. I do lessons with a couple of different trainers. One of them is very different. She pushes me super hard. Like, she might yell at me a little bit. She hasn't made me cry. I don't cry real easy, though. You know, the other one's a little softer. I go to them both for different reasons. They're both super good quality trainers, and they both have great knowledge base, and both of them bring something a little different to me. So I value them both so much. So if your trainer is one of those, this is something that is kind of a personal deal for me. I have an issue with trainers that gatekeep their clients. I guess that's the term I would like to use. When a trainer looks down on a client or chastises a client for going to a clinic that was maybe put on by another trainer, or by going to something that was maybe sponsored by another trainer. Guys, there is enough horses and enough humans out there for every one of us. Find the trainer that's right for you. And you know what? If I have a client that goes to another trainer, my only expectation is when you get back, you better tell me how it went. And if you learned something really cool, you better share it with me. That's it. Like, I don't care if they go to another trainer. They're going to pick up something from them that I may have said a certain way 3 or 4 times, and it just didn't sink in. And this other trainer presents the exact same information in a different way. And they're like, oh, I wish somebody had said that. So look for a trainer that fits you, personality, your morals, your ethics, your values. This is a valid relationship. This is an important relationship. Once you get that trainer picked, I want you to do plenty of lessons. Spend some time there. Do lessons. This does a lot of different things. Number one, the more advanced of a rider you are, the better of a rider you are, the wider pool you have of horses to choose from. So it widens your potential horses that can fit you. It's just like me. I probably would never go spend the money to buy a finished horse, because I would much rather put the time into it myself. And I can get a young horse and spend some time with it and make it fit me, whereas a beginner couldn't. So that's the reason. So the more experience you have and the more ability you have, the wider variety of horses you'll have to choose from at better prices. I will tell you, from the market right now, if you have a horse that is a 15-year-old, anybody can ride, sound, safe, and sane horse that is nothing fancy but dog gentle, he will be on demand. That is what everybody's looking for. If you can widen your search a little bit, you'll have a lot more choices. Number 2, the next thing, and this is especially valid in my opinion for children or younger adults, not as much us older folks, is when you're buying a horse for someone who is who their horsemanship is growing in these kind of stages versus these kind of stages, it's very quickly that they can outgrow that horse in sense of ability. So it also helps you to get a horse that is a good fit for a much longer period of time, which is what we all want. The next thing it does is it helps your trainer really get to know you. So when you go out on this shopping journey, your trainer can be your advocate. And they can say, you know what, yeah, that horse is beautiful and he's not the one for you. So there's a lot of advantages to that. That trainer is going to know what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what type of personality this horse has to have to be a good match for you. All of those things. All of those things are part of this matchmaking thing that us trainers do. So the better the trainer knows you, the better they can help you find that perfect for you horse. The next step is making your list. So this list, I start out real rudimentary, just a piece of paper and a bunch of chicken scratch. What are priorities to you? Do you want a 16-hand horse? Do you want a 14-hand horse? Do you need a really, really gentle horse, or are your skills there where you could have one that's a little bit feistier and you're okay with that? So start really narrowing down the traits that are important to you. So I start with just a list. And in my list, I put really important things and then stupid things like, I would love if he was this color. We'll talk about that too. And so I start with just that. Then I take those and break them down and prioritize them. And so you start with your very first thing, training, skill level. Does this horse match my skill level? Does he match my personality? Can we get along and have a great relationship? Size is valid. Now, I did have a lady one time show up to look at a horse, and she brought a measuring stick and she measured him, and she stopped the sale because he was a half an inch off of what she wanted. So that might really make your search pool small. So you can be a little flexible. That's something that to me is like, ooh, my favorite is XYZ. But I'll sure ride this too if it's a nice enough horse. So start with those things. Training level, skill set. Start with all of the things that are important to you. This is a tough list to make. And after I make my list, I start prioritizing them. These are the things that are absolute must-haves, deal breakers. If it doesn't fit on this list, then we move on. The next list is things that are pretty important, but maybe I could give up one or two of them. And then this list is just like, wow, that would be a great bonus. I sure would like if this happened. The next thing a trainer is going to do is going to really help you have a good idea of what the actual market is. I don't know how many people don't have any idea what a horse sells for. And they might go out and pay $20,000 for a $5,000 horse. Or they may expect to get a $20,000 horse for $1,000. Your trainer's also going to know, hey, okay, you have these things on your list, these things on your list, and these bonus items. You're going to need to be in this budget to look at this. So your trainer's going to give you that guidance before you start the shopping process. So they're going to say, hey, you know what? For Mr. Ed that you want and all of these things, you're going to need a budget of around $10,000. If you're wanting to do XYZ, your budget needs to be $20,000. So that trainer will also help you with knowing what to get into. Once you have your list made, now it's time to start shopping. Put that list in front of your trainer's eyes and make sure they agree with you. Make sure that you talk through that. All of this, I promise you, you're not going, yes, lessons cost money. Yes, all of this is going to cost you a little bit of money. It will not cost you near as much money as hospital bills, horses that aren't a good fit, that cause a lot of emotional grief because you feel like you failed them, even though it was just never a match. So this process really is going to save you money, time. Biggest thing is heartache and possibly injury. So this is something really important to put a lot of weight and thought into. So guys, this is episode 1. Next week, we're going to go on to episode 2 on Monday. Don't forget, if you want to join our full class, it is only $25 to upgrade. It'll move this class to an 8-week class for you. You'll be included in a private Facebook group that has extra educational materials in it all the time. And you'll be able to be involved in a question and answer series, a lot more one-on-one interaction. You'll also get our downloadable digital book that is a workbook that helps walk you through all of this. So that's only $25 right now to join the 8-week course. If you want to upgrade, on all of our posts, there's a link that will tell you how to upgrade. The only way we ever do anything is through our link and our website or in person. I'm sure that we're going to have a lot more with the link and the website as the online presence grows, and we still have our local clients. So just know that we're never going to ask you for money or any of those things or try to book anything with you. You have to call us. So come and upgrade and join our full group, because I promise you it is 100% going to be worth $25. You're going to save so much money. It's going to give you so many tools to buy the right horse. We'll see you guys next week on this series, and thank you all for following, and happy trails.